L and J back on SportsCenter. SEC football coaches have taken over our ESPN campus today, including Florida's Jim McElwain, who in his first year as the Gators head coach started 10-1, was named the conference's coach of the year. That 10-1 start included a 28-point win over then number 3 Ole Miss. Rough end to the season, though. The Gators ran into a couple of buzzsaws. They lost their last 3 games. They were against Florida State, then Alabama in the conference title game, and then they lost to Michigan in the Citrus Bowl. Those 3 losses by an average of 24 points. Trying to stop the bleeding and start on a high note for 2016. ESPN's FPI gives Florida the 3rd best chance to win the SEC East. That's partly due to a tough schedule this year. FBI likes Tennessee and Georgia better than the Gators. Florida has to play Tennessee on the road, as well as a neutral site matchup with Georgia. And then they've got road games at LSU, at Arkansas, and at Florida State. That is a gauntlet.
Yikes.
But that is life in the SEC. Jim McElwain joins us on the set. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by.
You had to go through that schedule.
I know.
You just kind of ruined my day, right?
Jab.
Do we just, is there something else?
There is, and I might as well get it out of the way to start.
Go ahead.
Jim's going to love coming to see me.
Boy, this is
He's never coming back.
We have to start with the news from early yesterday morning. You had a pair of freshmen, including your top offensive recruit, ran into some trouble, arrested and charged with firing BB guns, causing more than $1,000 in damage on campus. And I know in your statement you said, and you've maintained, and this is your message to players, look, there are consequences for your actions, and there will be consequences when we see actions like this. And I know it's early, and this has to play out, but one of the players admitted to the actions. What's your plan to deal with this?
Here's a lot of people go through life making choices. We all do. Everybody in this room does. And yet, here's the beauty. We have freedom of choice, right? The thing we don't have is freedom of consequence based on our actions. Our guys know they're going to be dealt with. That's the way we handle things, the way I handle things. I think my track record proves that.
It does.
And yet, it's not about that as much about the education of what you learned from your actions. And that's the thing as a teacher, as a coach, the thing you go through every single day is trying to help all these young men learn from past historical data. And that's where we're at. And these guys will be dealt with, and it'll be taken care of.
Do you have a message, Coach? Because at this particular time in our country, with guns and everything that's going on, how do you turn this into a teaching moment with your guys? Not just the 2 that ran into this, but the entire group. What do you say to them about guns?
Well, in general, what we do each week in our teachings, not only with the people we bring in, but the mental conditioning coaches that we have within our organization, is talking about current world issues and where exactly it's at and how to deal with some of those. Because like you said, there's a lot of landmines out there. And it goes back to, again, the education and weekly, daily information you can give these guys to make better choices in all the things that they do.
It's not easy.
It's certainly not easy, especially for 18, 19-year-old kids to have to deal with. Let's talk a little bit about what's happening on the actual field. Last season, you were ahead of schedule. You even admitted that how well you guys did surprised you and the team, but you did have some key departures on defense, which was really your bread and butter last year, losing 3 all-SEC performers. How are you feeling about that side of the ball?
Not only that, but 7 draft choices. I mean, these guys are pretty good.
And now you get to replace them.
And yet, it was a joy coaching those guys. And to see how they really invested in not only themselves, but more so the Gators as we went on. That was something that was really powerful. Now, I talked to our team quite a bit. Look, it isn't about replacing that position and being that player, but it's about the other people around elevating their play that are coming back until those different spots get filled. And we've got some great leaderships on that side of the ball. We've got a lot of good players coming back. The depth is going to be something that we got to constantly work on.
Unless you're Nick Saban, it's almost impossible to win a national title with a first-year quarterback. Somehow he's made that standard operating procedure. But you've got an interesting situation at quarterback. Treon Harris obviously switching from QB to wide receiver. Where do things stand right now for you? How comfortable are you with your situation at quarterback?
I got to tell you this. I love our quarterback room. Our quarterback room is something that it's something that people don't think about, but the individual position rooms sometimes and how they can really affect everybody in the organization. Obviously, the greatest effect you can have is in that quarterback room. We've got two guys that are kind of veteran kind of guys that know what to do. We've got two guys that are young, an unbelievable arm talent. So it's exciting.
Yeah.
And to see how those guys are really affecting everybody every single day, to take a little step forward, you know, the interesting thing is going to be, and the key to playing that position, you know, I was fortunate to be part of those two first-year starting quarterbacks at Alabama.
Yeah.
And it isn't that guy has to make all the plays. Successful quarterbacks, no matter where they've played and what they do, the other 10 around them play better because they're in the huddle. And so that, to me, is the key, and we've got a couple guys that I feel really comfortable with.
I know you've been making the rounds at the car wash today, so I don't know if you've had a chance to see Jim Harbaugh's rap video. Have you had a chance to check out Jim Harbaugh's rap? Okay, well, here's a snippet of it. You can see it right here. Here it is. This is a rapper named Bailey, and Jim Harbaugh is called Who's Got It Better Than Us. First of all, I've got to ask you, if you could be in a rapper's video, which rapper's video would you be in, Coach?
Probably 50 Cent, right?
50 Cent, okay. Gangster.
Yeah,
we thought maybe you'd say Flow Rider, right? Like, it makes sense.
That makes sense. That works.
Rider?
Yeah, but I would love to see you in a video with 50s. Look, I just like watching coaches do things that are outside their comfort zone. Yeah. It's fun to watch.
That's
really
right.
Is.
You know, I don't know whether they'd let me back in the state of Montana. I don't know where I'm from. I'm just, you know.
If you said 50s.
You know,
Put your street cred,
you know,
Coach.
That's the way
it would go through the roof. Look, Jim does things in an unorthodox way. There's just no other way to say it. He's almost reinventing modern-day recruiting. Some of the things that he's done, they speak for themselves. Start the satellite camp in Florida, and some of the coaches were just rubbed the wrong way by that whole thing. You expressed support for it. You didn't have anything against it. You know, it's something we've done. I mean, back when I was at Eastern Washington, back when I was at Montana State, obviously when we were at Colorado State, I mean, it's not anything new that was going on. Well, it's one thing for coaches outside of talent-rich areas to go where the talent is. Now you're where the talent is. Well, and yet, you know what? As long as the rules allow it, it's all good. It's all good. What do you make of his recruiting antics overall? The sleepover, the climbing trees, the rap video, all of the things that Jim has done to sort of make sure he's part of the news cycle. Well, you know, I guess any news is good news, right? I mean, you stay in it, and it's something they choose to do. It's not my gig, and yet I think the players that I recruit and the players that play for us, they know what it's going to be to play for Coach Mack, and that's the good thing. How would they sum up your recruiting style if we asked one of your players? You know, it'd be interesting. I don't know. That'd be a great question. A little less aggressive, probably, is my guess. I wouldn't say that. That's probably not it, but for whatever reason, it works. You should lead with, I like 50 Cent. Yeah, you're doing well. Well, Coach, listen, it's tough to follow up an initial season like you had, but SEC Coach of the Year, but I know that's your goal. Yeah. Best of luck to you. Thanks so much, man. This is pretty cool now. Yeah. It's a cool studio, right? Yeah, I do the same thing every day. Can I do that? Because yeah, you can. This is all right. When we go to the Florida football facility, we do the same thing. I got you. This is pretty cool. I got you. It's awesome. Coach, good seeing you. I appreciate it. You bet.